This is why you have to be careful who you let into your Halloween parties. So this is a photo of who police believed was a guest at a Halloween party in Rochester, New York in the 1940s. The party was being thrown by Jack and Amelia Layton, and they actually noticed that this guest was outside of the party watching the guests through a window. The report claims that Amelia believed the guest was her friend Jan, who tended to go above and beyond for Halloween, creating very scary costumes. So she let this person in believing it was her friend Jan. But then 20 minutes later, Jan shows up, and that guest could not be found anywhere. So Amelia starts running around the party asking everyone if they knew who that guest was, and no one had recognized that person. So she goes into her daughter's room, who was playing while the party was happening. And the police report states that the only thing there left of Amelia's daughter was a bloody shoe. 4 other reports of this guest being at parties that night were called into police, and all of them resulted in missing children's cases. The identity of this person has never been found, and none of the kids have been found either.
Everyone beware, because this is a new kidnapping technique. Watch the video and I'll explain after. According to the men, there was a woman walking down the street, calmly just screaming. She was screaming and crying and asking for help, but was very calm. When the guys left, they saw her just get into a car and they drove off. The guys went inside because they knew it was a setup. If they went to go help that woman, the car would have been right there and would have gotten the guys. Or mugged them, I don't know. Please stay safe out there. This is so scary.
This photo is of the Cincinnati Crawler. It was taken by a family who caught him in their home in 1974, but he escaped shortly afterwards. So in 1974, the Johnson family in Cincinnati noticed a couple weird things happening in their home. The 14-year-old daughter, Claire, would complain about seeing glowing eyes outside of her window at night. And then one night, the youngest son, Timmy, was laying in bed in the dark when he felt the family dog jump up onto his bed. But when he went to go pet it, it was not the dog. It was the Crawler, who police still believe was responsible for the disappearance of 4 other boys in the area. Some believe that he was an escaped convict, while others actually believe that he was the victim of human experiments happening in the area that may have been conducted by the family's dad. Claire snapped this photo of him before he escaped, but he was never found since.
On the evening of July 5th, 2012, Dave and Mary Neese watched their 16-year-old daughter, Skylar, walk into her bedroom. Little did they know that that was the last time they would ever see her alive. On July 5th, 2012, 16-year-old Skylar Neese snuck out of her window in West Virginia. She had a rendezvous with 2 of her best friends, Rachel and Sheila. The plan was to drive to the border of Pennsylvania to smoke a little pot in the mountains up there. As Skylar got into the car, she mentioned to her friends that she felt a little bad. She said, "You know, I love my parents and I hate lying to them. I told them that I had a long day at work and I just wanted to go in my bedroom and call it a night. And they believed me." But Rachel and Sheila reassured her that everything was going to be fine and they would make it back before any of their parents woke up. Fast forward a day later. Skylar's dad had just arrived home from work and he noticed that Skylar's door was still closed and that she hadn't left since the night previous. So he knocks on her door to check up on her, but no answer. Now, worried, he lets himself into her room, and he sees that she's not there. It's unclear if Skylar had a cell phone or not, but I don't think she did. So he called his wife, and she hadn't heard from her. Called her friends, and they said the same thing. "I don't know where she's at." And still no luck. Nobody's heard from Skylar. So David decided to do some investigating on his own. He decided to look around the home. And there, outside of Skylar's window, was a table pushed against the wall. He then thought to himself that either someone came through Skylar's window and took her, or she had snuck out on her own. Right away, he called authorities. When his wife came home from work, authorities were already there. But they kept reassuring the parents that, you know what, she probably just snuck out, she'll be back, and not to worry at all. Skylar's parents still were not satisfied with that answer, so they did some more investigating. And that's when Skylar's mom received a phone call from one of Skylar's best friends, Sheila. Sheila mentioned to Skylar's mom that Skylar, Rachel, and herself snuck out that night that Skylar went missing. Sheila said that she felt responsible because they had picked up Skylar to go smoke some pot. And that was not the first time they did that. Evidently, they would do this frequently, and when they would do this, they would drop her off 2 blocks away from their house so that it wouldn't disturb her parents. Now, Skylar's parents were extremely worried. They thought that Skylar probably got abducted on her way back home, walking those 2 blocks. She was stoned, she probably couldn't have defended herself. So Sheila and Rachel would end up coming over to help her parents look around the neighborhood since they felt extremely responsible. But no Skylar. They then got back to their home and noticed that on their apartment complex building was a camera facing slightly towards the street. They spoke with the apartment manager and they were able to obtain the footage from that camera. But the footage was so grainy. And while you can see Skylar getting into a vehicle, the camera wasn't able to pick up footage from 2 blocks away. So there was no substantial evidence there. Skylar's parents didn't give up. They continued to post missing flyers everywhere they could. But days turned to weeks, weeks turned to months, and still no Skylar. No information whatsoever. Until on December 28, 2012, a frantic parent called 911. The mother said that her daughter was hysterical. Punching the walls, punching people. Her daughter even gave her a black eye. The girl was Rachel, one of Skylar's best friends. One of the girls that she was out with that night that she disappeared. Authorities took Rachel to a mental hospital where she was eventually evaluated. And what Rachel had to say shocked everybody. And that's when the grim truth about Skylar Neese was revealed. Prior to Skylar's disappearance, Rachel and Sheila were growing tired of Skylar. Everything she did seemed to annoy them. Therefore, they decided they didn't like her anymore. So they plotted something against her. Something terrible. The night that Skylar disappeared, they told her that they were just going to smoke some pot up in the mountains. Sheila parked her car and all the girls got out. And that was when Sheila and Rachel got behind Skylar. And Rachel said, 1, 2. And on the count of 3, they both stabbed Skylar in the back. At one point, Skylar got away. But they caught up to her and then stabbed her in the knee. That's when she fell. Skylar shouted, "Why?" To which Rachel and Sheila replied, "'Cause we don't like you anymore." Sheila was charged with first-degree murder and pled guilty in 2014. She received a life sentence with the possibility of parole in 15 years. Rachel was guilty of second-degree murder and received a 30-year sentence. The Neese family also helped to pass Skylar's Law, which requires the state to issue Amber Alerts even for children who are not believed to be kidnapped. Rest in peace, Skylar Neese.
This is, my name is James.
As you can see, the man is acting very strange and almost doesn't know how to answer his questions. When the homeowner asks who he is looking for, pay attention to the name he gives.
Sosa. Sammy?
He first says Sosa, then he says Sammy, like Sammy Sosa, the baseball player. It was likely the first name he could come up with on the spot for a fake friend he was looking for. The homeowner then threatens the man to leave.
What's your name?
James.
And who are you looking for?
No, a friend of mine.
No friend of yours lives here, buddy, and I got a Glock over here ready for you. So if you don't get the off my porch, I'm gonna unload it on your face. Get the off my porch.
The reason why he was trying to get inside the house is unknown. No one knows what could have happened if the man would have let him inside. The homeowner handled the situation the correct way by talking to the man through the locked and closed door via the Ring doorbell camera. And once he noticed the man's strange and suspicious behavior, he threatened him to leave.